Hi, my name's Steve and welcome to the Seaside Allotment channel. I get a lot of questions about how I sow my seeds and bring them on, etc, etc. So I thought I'd do a quick video. I don't normally do it because it's just so uninspiring. I mean, there's nothing special about the way that I sow seeds or prick them out or pot them on or anything like that. I always recommend Nigel and the Muddy Boots channel if you want to see how to do that really well. I just do it quickly and efficiently. So that's what this video is. It's just my end-to-end seed sowing process from seed packet to hardened off plant, and hope you enjoy. So seed sowing always starts on the laptop, and first off I just want my failed sowings for the month, and that's failed sowings for April. So I just duplicate those entries with today's date in May's sowing log, and everything that I sow has a batch number. So the purslane is going to be 279. That makes it really easy for me to look that up on the allotment and to keep track of the progress of each batch of seeds that I sow, and which ones fail and which ones, when they germinate, when I get them planted, where I've planted them, all that sort of thing. So all my labels just say 279 golden purslane. And I'll just go through that process, all the seeds that I'm going to do today. I don't know, maybe 20 packets. So my database automatically provides a list of all of the seed packets for that particular variety that I've got logged in my seed packet database. And that little line basically is a summary. The 1928 says expiry date of 2019 week 28. And the 49 is the number that's written on the seed packet. And so you can see from that actually I need seed packet 49 because that's the oldest packet of seeds. So all my seeds are in numerical order, and somewhere in here, seed packet 49. You could just believe me, but there we go. Golden purslane, 3,000 seeds. And so I bundle all those up in a little tray and I'm ready to go. And all these labels are just cut from milk bottles or milk cartons. So I do all my sowing in my workshop. Oh, that's all the harvesting equipment there. And in here I've got module trays of different sizes, and I've just stocked up on these because I hate to run out of things, and I need various different sizes. But basically my idea is that I want a size that allows me to plant after when things are a month old. So I'm always trying to get things a month old. That's my objective. So it makes it really easy for planning. I sow 1 month, I plant the next month. It's really simple. And down the bottom I've got my smallest module trays and trays there. Down the bottom, sowing area on the bench, a little pack of things to sow here, my various composts down there. That's the seed compost, that's the multi-purpose compost. And I just prep these. So these are all the things that go in the 40 cell trays. I need 4 of those, 4 trays. These are all the things that go in the Brassica tray. So basically I just put like say 20 Brassicas in each module, and then I prick those out and sow them on in about a week to 10 days time. So that's all those. These are all the beans. They're just going in these modules because they're going to get planted out in early June. So they don't need to be in anything deeper than that. They're just fine in those. Need 3 trays of those. And so I'm ready. All these go on the floor. Compost. So that's all labelled and ready to go on the floor. Multi-purpose compost for the beans. Seed compost for everything else. Basically because seed compost is too expensive to use for the beans, and seed compost on here just ready to cover the tops of everything. Beans go in 2 per module. They just get pushed in just under 2 inches down, just like that, and then covered. So there's some debate about whether you do 2 or 1 per cane. Basically the research shows if you do 2 per cane you get slightly less yield than individual canes, but of course canes are very expensive and take up a lot of space, so when you take that into consideration you get much better yield by doing 2 per cane. And of course not everyone's going to germinate anyway, so just make sure that you get at least 1 germinating. I didn't have quite enough cobra, so I've got some home saved. These are a cross between a French bean and a runner bean, so they'll be fine for a bit of variety. So that's all done. With seed compost, labelled batch 274. Each tray is always labelled in case they get muddled up. The climbing French beans, same story. These are purple rather than the green cobra ones. Basically just popping those in, a couple of 1.5 inches down. You don't need to be too fussy about this, just whatever's quickest, unless you really like sowing. I'm not a big fan of sowing, so it's basically as quick as possible, and then just cover by hand. Last runner beans, only 1 per module, a bit bigger, and these are home saved seeds from last year, so hopefully all of these will germinate, so I don't need extra insurance policy. We don't like runner beans as much as French beans, so in those go. Again, these modules are quite small, but because we'll be planting these out in 3 or 4 weeks, so no problem. Brassicas are as cheap as chips, so I always get about twice as many as I need, and just make little depressions in the compost. I'll show you that in a sec. You can see all those little depressions made with the end of my finger, just so the seeds have got somewhere to nestle without rolling to the edge. You can see all those little seeds in there, loads of them. We'll prick those out in about a week to 10 days, and then hopefully it'll be about 4 weeks in the next size up module before they get planted. Labelling the seed packet to the dun tray, so that's all of them. Absolutely loads of snowball, because I'm planting those I think about 20 to a square metre, because I actually want those the size of a snowball, so you have to plant them really high density. Sprinkle about 1 centimetre of compost on top. And now we're on to golden purslane. This is a bit of a tricky one. Tiny little seeds, need light to germinate, so they say just lie them on the surface. I don't quite like to do that. Make very slight depressions, and then just put a tiny pinch, so that tends to be 2 or 3 seeds in each module. Loads of seeds in one hand, pinch with your fingers from the other. Purslane is an amazing plant, incredibly nutritious, really tasty and crunchy, absolutely brilliant in summer salads. As I said, all I do now is I just kind of wipe my hand over the top so as to make sure that there's not much compost. There we go. And I think, well, I do get good germination doing it like that. There's a tray that I did last week. Looks pretty good. Next up, there's chard. This needs to be planted about 1 centimetre deep. It's easy to do that with your finger. The bright lights, chard seeds, well, all chard seeds, just like beetroot, are clusters of multiple seeds. Sometimes hard when you're just doing it with your finger to see whether you've actually pressed them in by a full centimetre, and you can see maybe that one's not in, so it's easier just to see, just run a quick eye over them. They're all okay. I put 2 seeds in per cell, hoping for 2 plants but because they're clusters you could get up to 5. Obviously you just thin those out down to 2 to 3. French breakfast radish, 3 or 4 seeds per module. I only do half a tray, then when the plants are just sort of breaking surface and you can see the proper leaves, then I'll do the next half. There's too many radish there for well, at this time of year they just grow so fast. If I was doing these in January time, February time, then I'd do a full tray because they last so much longer in the ground. But if you do a full tray, they'll be woody by the time you get to the last of them. Don't do more than 4 seeds in each module because if you do 4 seeds, they'll all grow to reasonable sized radishes at the same time. You can harvest them as a bunch. No need to thin them out. No need to leave some in the ground to thicken up and all that sort of thing. Just, you know, here 20 bunches of radish, harvest them all at the same time. Lettuce, almost exactly the same as everything else pretty much that we've done. Basically 1 centimetre, which is basically down to your fingernail, the end of your fingernail, deep, which is the same as chard, which is the same as radish, even though these are tiny little seeds. So all these rules about, you know, so many times the size of the seed plant, so many times deeper than the size of the seed, all a load of rubbish basically. Just 1 centimetre pretty much for everything apart from beans and other big seeds like squash and the like, which are basically 1 inch. Germinates really reliably, so you only really need 1 seed per module, but I always do, maybe I'm doing 20 cells of each lettuce variety here, so I'll do maybe 5 cells with 2 seeds and basically just do that by accident almost, and that means you've always got just a few extras to prick out if you do get any duds. Because I'm using this fine seed compost, I don't need to worry about sieving or anything like that. I just sort of sieve it through my fingers before I put it on, and that's fine. So they're all done. Now none of these need heat. In fact, heat is the enemy when it comes to germinating seeds, most seeds. What these need is about 18 degrees, which is a cool bedroom basically, out of the sun, in a corner, somewhere like that. Just want a good water then. I do not like to soak them from the bottom. I think they're always way too wet when you do that. This is just fine from the top, apart from those golden purslane. Now because that golden purslane was really fine, little tiny seeds, I'll just water really gently with one of these. Everything goes back in its place, so that's 95. It goes back in 95. Everything is all back in its box. It's a little thing all ready. Need some more labels, keep these little clips. And this box is basically seeds that I've finished with. They're out of date normally, but I just hang on to them if they've still got seeds left in, and then if I need some seeds and I haven't got any, I'll just use these out of date seeds. But basically I don't keep out of date seeds in these containers here. I just have them in here just in case they come in handy. Sometimes I just think, oh, I just feel like sowing some seeds, and I'll just sow some of these. And incredibly, I actually keep my seeds up on this bookcase in the conservatory. It's really hot in here, but I've never yet, I don't think, apart from those cauliflowers, had seeds that are in date, that don't germinate, even though they're stored in this environment, even when they're open packets. But if it's an open packet, then I basically assume it's got 1 year of life after opening. So these geraniums just arrived in the post. I've just opened them up, and what a great example these are of how a big plant can grow in a tiny little module. So yeah, I prefer small modules if I can get away with it. They're looking pretty good those, aren't they? Red geraniums. So this is where I germinate 95% my seedlings in the spare bedroom underneath the radiator. So the radiator's not on at the moment. And I monitor the temperature here with this little Bluetooth thermometer, and it's really interesting to see just what the temperature variation is in here with no sunlight. Really nice and cool, pretty much a steady 18 degrees C, which is absolutely ideal for everything that's down here, everything I planted today. Maybe just a little bit too cool for tomatoes, but I've actually got cucumbers germinating just down there, so that's not a problem, or gherkins. And then if it's a brassica, as soon as it germinates and it's been pricked out, it'll go on this windowsill, which is not that sunny. It only gets sun till about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and so that's about right for the brassicas. Any more than that and basically they're just sort of overwhelmed, it's too hot for them. And then once these are about another week, they'll go outside into my little grow tent, and things like lettuces will go straight out into this little grow tent, but the brassicas will stay in here until they're ready to be hardened off, just out here on the patio. Things that need it a little bit warmer will go in the conservatory, and I'll go on this shelf in here, and you can see another little thermometer here that monitors the temperature here, and the temperature swings in here are huge by comparison with my correct germination area. And then these will just harden off out here on this little bench. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this quick video. My name's Steve, this is Seaside Allotment Channel, and I'll see you soon.